The night was too quiet. Even the wind had stopped. Armin stood alone in his dry field, looking up at the sky. It had not rained for weeks. The ground was cracked. His crops were dying. Life had become a daily struggle. He sighed and turned to leave. Then the sky changed. At first, it looked like a shooting star. A bright line cutting through the darkness, but it did not fade. It grew bigger, brighter, louder. Armin froze. This is not normal, he whispered. The light came down fast, too fast. Then boom, the ground shook. Birds flew out of the trees. A strong wind hit his face. Something had landed, not far from his field. For a moment, Armin just stood there. His heart was beating fast. Every part of him said to run away. But something else, something stronger, pulled him forward. Slowly, he walked toward the crash site. The air felt strange, warm, heavy, like a storm was coming, but the sky was still clear. As he got closer, he saw it, a metal pod, half buried in the ground. It was not like anything he had ever seen. Smooth, dark, no marks, no fire, no smoke, just silent. Armin moved closer. His hands were shaking. Maybe it's military, he said to himself, but deep inside, he knew that was not true. This was something else, something not from Earth. He stepped closer. The pod made a soft sound, hiss. A line appeared on its surface. Then slowly, it opened. Armin took a step back. Inside, there was a soft blue light, and something small, very small. He leaned forward, trying to see clearly. Then his eyes widened. It was a child. A little girl, but not human. Her skin was pale, almost glowing. Thin lines of light moved under her skin like slow rivers. Her hair was white, soft like silk. Her body was weak, too weak. She was not moving. Armin's breath became heavy. She's alive, he whispered. He quickly climbed inside the broken edge of the pod. The air inside felt warm. He reached out his hand, then stopped. What if it was dangerous? What if this was a trap? But the child did not move. She looked helpless. Slowly, he placed his hand near her face. Warm, very warm. She's burning, he said. Then he saw it. A small metal tag hanging around her neck, dirty, scratched. He cleaned it with his fingers. There was only one word written on it. Unworthy. Armin felt something strange in his chest. Unworthy? He repeated softly. Who would write that on a child? He looked back at her face. She looked peaceful, innocent, not dangerous, not evil, just abandoned. His jaw tightened. They left you here, he said quietly. For a moment he said nothing. Then he made a decision. I'm not leaving you. Carefully he lifted her into his arms. She was light, too light, as if she had not eaten for days. Or worse, he stepped out of the pod and looked at the sky, dark, silent, but it did not feel empty anymore. It felt like something was watching. Armin turned quickly. Nothing, still. The feeling stayed. We need to go, he said. He began walking back toward his house. Fast. Every step felt heavier than the last. The air behind him felt cold now. Wrong. Halfway there, the child moved. Armin stopped. He looked down at her. Her fingers twitched. Then slowly, her eyes opened. They were glowing, soft blue light. Not normal, not human. Armin froze. She looked straight at him. For a second, there was fear in her eyes. Then something changed. Calm. Trust. Her lips moved slightly, but she made no sound. Still. Armin heard her, not in his ears, but in his mind. A soft voice, weak but clear. They will come back. Armin's heart skipped. He looked around again. Nothing. But now he knew. This was not over. The child's grip on his shirt became tighter. Her voice came again, even weaker. They want me gone. Armin swallowed hard. He looked at her small face. Then at the dark sky. Whoever they were not kind. And they were coming. Armin held her closer. His voice was low, firm. Let them come. He did not know why he said that. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was anger. Or maybe it was something else, something human. He took a deep breath and kept walking. But high above them, hidden behind the darkness, something moved, watching, waiting, and it had already found them. The child did not speak again, but Armin could still feel her presence in his mind, like a soft echo, like she was there, even in silence. He reached his small house and quickly pushed the door open. The wood creaked loudly in the quiet night. He stepped inside and closed it fast, locking it from the inside. His hands were shaking. He looked down at the girl. Her glowing eyes were now closed again. "She's losing strength," he said softly. Armin placed her on his old bed. The mattress was thin, but it was clean. He covered her with a blanket. For a moment, he just stood there, watching her, trying to understand. "What are you?" he whispered. There was no answer, only silence. Then suddenly, a flash. Her body gave off a soft blue light. Armin stepped back in shock. The light moved under her skin again, faster this time. Like energy running through her veins. "She's not normal," he muttered. He moved closer again, slowly, carefully. He touched her hand. It was still too warm, almost burning. "She needs help," he said. But what kind of help? No doctor would understand this. No one would believe him. And deep inside he knew something else. If others found her, they would not try to save her. They would take her. Or worse. Armin looked toward the window. The outside was dark. Too dark. Then, in the distance, he heard it. Engines, low, heavy, not normal village sounds, vehicles, coming closer. Armin's body tensed. "Already?" he whispered. He quickly blew out the small lamp in the room. Darkness filled the house. He moved back to the bed. "Hey, wake up," he said softly. The child did not move. The sound of engines grew louder. Lights flashed outside. White beams cutting through the darkness. Armin's heart began to race. "They're here," he said. Just then, the child's eyes opened again. This time, faster, brighter. She looked scared. Her small hands grabbed his shirt tightly. Then the voice came again, inside his mind. Clearer now. "Hide." Armin didn't wait. He picked her up and moved quickly. There was a small storage space under the floor. Old, hidden, used long ago by his father. He pushed the wooden panel aside. Dust rose into the air. "Stay quiet," he whispered. The child looked at him for a moment. She seemed confused. Then she nodded slowly. Armin placed her gently inside. Before closing it, he looked at her again. "Don't make a sound." Her glowing eyes stayed on him. Then the panel closed. Just in time. Bang, bang. Someone knocked hard on the door. "Open up," a loud voice shouted. Armin took a deep breath. He walked to the door, calm, slow, as if nothing was wrong. He opened it. 3 men stood outside, dressed in dark uniforms, armed, serious. "Did you see anything fall from the sky?" one of them asked. Armin shook his head. "No, I was asleep." The man looked at him closely, like he was trying to read his thoughts. "There was a crash nearby," the man said. "Something came down." Armin shrugged. "I don't know anything about that." The second man stepped forward. "We will search the area." Armin stepped aside. "Go ahead." They moved past him, into the house. Heavy boots on the floor. Loud, dangerous. Armin kept his face calm. But inside, his heart was pounding. The first man looked around the room, then at the bed, then at the floor. For 1 second, his eyes stopped, right where the hidden panel was. Armin felt his chest tighten. The man took a step closer. Then, a sudden sound. Outside, a loud crack in the distance. Like electricity, the men turned quickly. "What was that?" one of them said. "Check it," the leader ordered. 2 of them rushed outside. The first man hesitated. Then followed. The house became silent again. Armin did not move. Not for several seconds. Then slowly, he let out a breath. He rushed to the floor and opened the panel. The child was still there. Her eyes glowing brighter now, stronger. She helped. Armin whispered. He was sure. That sound outside, it was not random. She did something. Her voice came again. Soft, weak, but clearer than before. They will not stop. Armin nodded slowly. I know. He helped her out and placed her back on the bed. This time, she did not look as weak. Still fragile, but changing. What are they afraid of? He asked quietly. The child looked at him for a long moment. Then, her eyes dimmed slightly, and she whispered one word, not in his mind, but out loud, soft, broken. Me. Armin stared at her, confused, surprised. You? He said. But before he could ask more, her body suddenly shook. The blue light flared brighter than before. The room filled with energy. The walls vibrated. Armin stepped back. What's happening? He shouted. The child's eyes went wide. Fear filled her face. Then, the light exploded outward, a silent shockwave. Everything in the room moved. Then stopped. Complete silence. Armin looked around. Nothing was broken. But everything felt different. Charged. Alive. He looked back at the child. She was breathing fast. Scared. And stronger than before. Outside, the vehicle started again. But this time, they were not leaving. More were coming, and far above the sky. Hidden beyond the clouds. Something massive shifted, watching, waiting, and getting closer. The lights outside did not fade. They grew stronger. More vehicles arrived, more voices, more boots on the ground. Armin stood still in the center of the room, his eyes fixed on the door. They didn't leave. He whispered. Behind him, the child tried to sit up. Her movements were slow, but not as weak as before. The glow under her skin was calmer now, but deeper, like something inside her had woken up. They are searching, her voice came into his mind again. Armin turned to look at her. You can feel them? He asked. She nodded slightly. Not like you feel. But I know. Armin moved to the window and carefully lifted the edge of the curtain. Outside, men in dark uniforms were moving from house to house. Flashlights cut through the night. Some carried strange devices, scanning the ground, the air, everything. They're not just looking, Armin said. They're tracking. The child's eyes narrowed. They are afraid. Armin looked back at her. Afraid of what? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked down at her own hands. The faint blue light pulsed again under her skin. Of what I can become. A sudden knock broke the silence again. Bang! Open the door. Armin froze. They came back. He said under his breath. The child's eyes widened. Do not let them take me. Armin nodded. I won't. He quickly looked around the room. There was no time to hide her under the floor again. They would search more carefully this time. His eyes landed on an old wooden cabinet. Can you stand? He asked. The child tried. She pushed herself up. But her legs shook. Armin moved fast and caught her before she fell. Easy, he said. He helped her walk, step by step, toward the cabinet. Stay quiet, he whispered as he opened it. She stepped inside slowly. Before he closed the door, she looked at him. For a moment, her glowing eyes softened. Safe one, Armin paused. Then nodded. I'm here. He shut the cabinet. Bang, bang. Bang! The knocking grew louder. I'm coming, Armin shouted. He walked to the door and opened it. This time, more men stood outside. And one of them was different. Older. Sharper eyes. He stepped forward. We need to search your house again. Armin stepped aside. Do what you want. The men entered quickly. No hesitation this time. They moved faster, rougher, opening drawers, moving objects, checking everything. The older man stayed near Armin, watching him closely. You live alone? He asked. Yes. No family? No. The man studied his face. "You seem calm," he said. Armin shrugged. "I have nothing to hide." The man gave a small, cold smile. "We'll see." One soldier moved toward the cabinet. Armin's heart jumped. The soldier reached for the handle. Then suddenly, a sharp pulse of light flashed inside the cabinet. The soldier pulled his hand back. "What was that?" he said. The room went silent. The older man turned slowly. "Open it," he ordered. Armin stepped forward. "That's just old storage. Open it," the man repeated louder. Armin had no choice. Slowly, he reached for the cabinet. His hand touched the handle. For a second, everything felt still. Then, the cabinet door opened. Empty. No child. No light. Nothing. Armin blinked. "What?" he whispered. The soldier stepped closer and checked inside. "Clear," he said. Armin's mind raced. She was there. He knew she was there. So where did she go? The older man looked at Armin again. Long, careful, then he nodded. "Move out." The soldiers began to leave, one by one. Their boots faded into the night again. The door closed. Silence returned. Armin stood frozen. Then suddenly, a soft voice came from behind him. "I am here." He turned fast. The child stood near the wall, hidden in shadow, her body faintly glowing. "How did you?" Armin stopped. She looked tired. But there was something new in her eyes. "Control. I can bend light." "For a short time," she said softly. Armin stared at her. "That's how you hid," she nodded. "But not for long." She took a step forward, then stumbled. Armin caught her again. "You're pushing yourself too hard," he said. She looked up at him. "They will not stop." "I know," Armin replied. Outside, the sounds had changed. No longer searching. Now, waiting. "They are setting a trap," Armin said quietly. The child's eyes dimmed slightly. "Yes." A moment of silence passed. Then Armin asked the question that had been in his mind since the beginning. "Why did they call you unworthy?" The child looked down. Her voice became softer. "They test all children of my kind." "For what?" "For power." Armin frowned. "And you failed?" She shook her head slowly. "No." Armin's chest tightened. "Then why?" Her eyes lifted, glowing again, stronger than before. "Because I did not fail." The room felt colder. "Then, what are you?" Armin asked. The child's voice came into his mind one more time, clear, heavy, full of truth. Something they could not control. Outside, far beyond the clouds. A massive shadow moved across the sky, silent, watching. And this time, it was not hiding anymore. The night did not feel safe anymore. It felt watched. Armin stood still, listening to every sound outside. The soldiers were no longer searching house to house. Now they had spread out, forming a circle. "They changed their plan," he said quietly. The child stood near the wall, her small body glowing faintly in the dark. "They are waiting," she replied. "For what?" Her eyes lifted slowly. "For me to run." Armin clenched his fists. "Then we don't run." The child looked at him. For a moment, there was silence between them. Then she shook her head. "If I stay, they will find me." Armin took a step closer. "And if you leave, they will take you." She did not answer, because she knew he was right. Outside, a bright light suddenly passed over the house. Not like a flashlight. Bigger, stronger. A scanning beam. Armin's breath slowed. "They're scanning everything now." The child closed her eyes. "I cannot hide for long," she said. Armin looked around the small house. There was nothing here that could protect her. Nothing that could stop what was coming. "We need to move," he said. The child opened her eyes again. "Yes." Armin grabbed a small bag. He put some water, a piece of cloth, and a little food inside. It was not much, but it was all he had. He looked at her. "Can you walk?" She nodded slowly. "I will try." He helped her stand again. This time she was stronger, still weak, but not like before. They moved toward the back door. Quiet, careful. Armin opened it slowly. The night air felt cold now, different. He stepped outside first, looking around. No one in sight, but the lights in the distance were still moving. "They're covering the front," he whispered. "We go from the back." The child followed him. They moved into the fields. Dry ground under their feet. Every step made a small sound, too loud for Armin's liking. "Stay close," he said. "I am." They walked deeper into the darkness. Away from the house. Away from the soldiers for a moment. It felt like they might escape. Then, a sharp sound. A device beeped in the distance. Voices followed. "They're there." Armin turned. "They found us." The child's eyes widened. "I told you. Run!" Armin shouted. They started moving faster, but the child's steps were uneven. She stumbled. Armin caught her again. "Go," she said. "Leave me." "No," Armin replied firmly. He lifted her into his arms and kept running. Behind them, lights flashed. Voices grew louder. "They're getting closer," Armin said. The child closed her eyes tightly. "I can slow them." "No," Armin said quickly. "You need to save your strength." But she shook her head. "If I don't, they will catch us." Before he could stop her, her body began to glow brighter. Stronger than ever before. The air around them started to shake. "What are you doing?" Armin asked. Her voice came into his mind. "Trust me." Then she raised one small hand, and the ground behind them suddenly shifted. A wave of force pushed outward. Dust, stones, and dry soil lifted into the air. The soldiers shouted. Their lights scattered. Some fell to the ground. The path behind Armin was blocked. For a moment, everything went silent again. Armin slowed down. He looked back. "They stopped," he said. But the child in his arms went still. Too still. "Hey," Armin said softly. "Stay with me." No response. Her glow faded. Her body felt weak again. She used too much. He whispered. He looked around quickly. They needed a place to hide. Fast. In the distance, he saw an old building. Broken. Abandoned. "Over there," he said. He carried her toward it. Every step felt heavy. But he didn't stop. He reached the building and pushed the broken door open. Inside it was dark, cold, safe. For now, he placed her gently on the ground. "Wake up," he said. Slowly, her eyes opened. Weak, but alive. "You should not have done that," Armin said. She looked at him. "If I didn't, you would be gone." Armin had no answer. He just sat beside her. For a moment, they both stayed silent. Then Armin spoke. "Tell me the truth." The child looked at him carefully. "What truth?" "Everything," he said. "Who you are. Why they fear you." She closed her eyes for a second, then opened them again. This time, there was no fear, only honesty. "My kind tests every child," she began. "We must show control, power, obedience." Armin listened closely. "I was different," she continued. "My power did not grow slowly. It came all at once." "And that's bad?" Armin asked. "Yes." "Why?" "Because I cannot control it fully." Armin's face grew serious. "And they fear you because of that?" She shook her head. "They fear me because I might become stronger than all of them." The room felt heavy. Armin let those words sink in. "They called you unworthy," he said slowly. "But that's not true." She looked at him. "No, it is not. Then why did they leave you?" Her voice dropped, soft. "They do not destroy their own kind," Armin frowned. "So they left you here to die?" She nodded. "Yes." Silence filled the room again. But this silence was different. It was not empty. It was full of truth. Armin looked at her, then said quietly, "You're not unworthy." She blinked. "You're just too much for them." For the first time, a small faint smile appeared on her face, but it didn't last long. Because suddenly, a deep sound echoed from above, not from the ground, from the sky. Both of them looked up, through the broken roof. A massive shadow moved across the stars, slow, silent, powerful. The child's face turned pale. "They found me," she whispered. Armin stood up. His jaw tightened. "Then they found me too." The shadow grew larger, closer, and this time there was no hiding from it. The sky was no longer dark, it was covered. A massive shape blocked the stars, silent, still, watching. Armin stood under the broken roof, his eyes fixed upward. "What is that?" he asked. The child did not answer right away. Her face had gone pale. Her glowing veins dimmed. "That is one of their carriers," she said softly. "A ship that brings judgment." Armin's chest tightened. "Judgment?" She nodded. "They do not come to talk." Outside, a deep humming sound filled the air, low and powerful. The ground began to vibrate slightly. Armin looked around the old building. "This place won't hold," he said. The child slowly pushed herself up, trying to stand again. "You should leave," she said. Armin looked at her sharply. "No." Her eyes met his. "If you stay with me, you will die." "And if I leave?" Armin asked. She lowered her gaze. "I will be taken." Silence. Heavy, painful. Armin ran a hand through his hair. "This is not a choice," he said. "It is," she replied. Outside, a beam of light suddenly shot down from the sky. It hit the ground not far from the building. Bright, blinding, a voice followed. Not loud, but everywhere, cold, clear. "Return the subject." Armin froze. "What was that?" he whispered. "My people," the child said. "They are calling me." The voice came again, stronger this time. "The marked one does not belong to this world." Armin stepped forward, anger rising in his chest. "She belongs wherever she wants." He shouted. The child looked at him in surprise. "You should not say that," she whispered. But Armin did not care. "They left you to die," he said. "Now they come back like they own you?" The ground shook again. Another beam of light hit the earth, closer this time. "They do own me," she said quietly. Armin shook his head. "No, no one owns you." She looked at him. Her glowing eyes filled with something new. Emotion. "You speak like this." "Because you are human," she said. "Then maybe they should learn from humans," Armin replied. The voice from the sky returned. This time, colder. "More dangerous. Final warning. Return the subject. Or face removal." Armin's fists clenched. "They're threatening Earth now," he said. "Yes," the child replied. "Because of me." She took a step back. Away from him, Armin noticed. "Where are you going?" he asked. She did not answer. She just kept stepping back, toward the open side of the broken building. "You cannot protect me," she said softly. "I can try," Armin replied. "That is not enough." The light from the sky grew brighter. The beam widened, searching, waiting. "If they take me," she continued, "they will leave your world." "And if they don't?" Armin asked. Her voice dropped. "They will burn it." Armin felt those words hit hard. Burn it, destroy everything, for one child. He looked at her small, fragile form. "You think I will just let you go?" he said. She looked at him. Tears formed in her glowing eyes. "You must." Armin shook his head. "No, you must," she repeated. "Because I choose it." That stopped him. For a moment he said nothing. "You choose this?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "I will not let them hurt you. Or this world." Armin took a step toward her. "You don't even know this world." She gave a faint, sad smile. "I know enough." Another beam hit the ground. Even closer. The air felt like it was breaking. Time was running out. Armin's mind raced. Fight, hide, run. None of it would work. Not against something like that. He looked at her again. This time, not as something strange. Not as something unknown, but as a child. A scared child, trying to protect him. "I won't stop you," he said finally. Her eyes widened slightly. But I won't abandon you either. Before she could respond, Armin stepped forward and grabbed her hand. I'm coming with you. No, she said quickly. You cannot. Watch me, Armin replied. The beam from the sky locked onto them. Bright, blinding. The ground lifted slightly beneath their feet. A pulling force, strong. She tried to pull away. You will die up there. She said. Then I die, Armin answered. Her eyes shook. Why? Armin looked at her. Simple, clear. Because you shouldn't face this alone. The light grew stronger. They both began to rise slowly from the ground. Dust and stones floated around them. The world below started to fade. You are not like them, she whispered. Armin gave a small smile. No, he said. I'm worse. For a brief second, she laughed. A soft, weak sound, but real. Then, suddenly, the light flickered. The pull stopped. They both dropped back to the ground, hard. Armin looked up. What happened? The sky shifted. The massive ship moved slightly. And then, a smaller shape appeared. Faster, brighter, descending rapidly. The child's eyes widened in shock. That's not them. She whispered. Armin stood up slowly. Then who is it? The new object came down like fire, not silent. Not calm, aggressive, it crashed far in the distance. The ground shook again. A different kind of sound filled the air now, not controlled. Not cold, wild. The child stepped back, fear returning to her face. I know that energy, she said. Armin looked at her. What is it? Her voice trembled. They didn't just come for me, she swallowed. Then said the words slowly. They sent a hunter. The sky darkened further. The big ship remained above, watching, waiting. But now, something else had entered the game. Something worse. And it was coming closer. The ground was still shaking. Dust rose into the air as the new object burned in the distance. It had not landed softly. It had crashed with force, like it did not care about the world below. Armin stood frozen, staring at the far horizon. That is the hunter? He asked. The child did not look away from the crash site. Yes, she said quietly. And it will not stop. A low, deep sound rolled across the land. Not like the smooth hum of the large ship above. This sound was rough, alive, like something breathing. Armin felt it in his chest. Then we don't wait for it, he said. We move. He reached for her hand again. But this time, she pulled away. Armin blinked. What are you doing? He asked. Her eyes were different now. Not just fear. Something else, resolve. You should go, she said. Armin shook his head. We already had this talk. This is different, she replied. The ground shook again, stronger, closer. He is not like the others, she said. He was made to end things like me. Armin frowned. Then all the more reason I stay, she stepped back again. No, Armin's voice grew firm. I'm not leaving you. Her glow began to grow brighter. More intense than before. You do not understand, she said. If I lose control, I will destroy everything near me. Armin took a step forward anyway. Then I'll make sure you don't. She looked at him for a long moment, as if trying to understand something impossible. Why? She asked again. Armin didn't hesitate this time. Because you're not alone. The air between them felt heavy. Then suddenly, a loud crack split the silence. Both of them turned. From the smoke and dust in the distance, something moved, fast, too fast. It crossed the field in seconds, then stopped. Not far from them, Armin's breath caught. The hunter stood there, tall, not fully solid, not fully light. Its body shifted constantly, like shadows trying to take shape. Its eyes burned with a deep red glow. It was not a machine, and not fully alive. It tilted its head slightly, studying them. Then it spoke, not with a voice, but inside the mind, cold, empty. Target confirmed. The child stepped forward. No, she said. Leave this world. The hunter did not react. Primary objective. Eliminate unstable subject. Armin moved in front of her. You want her? He said. Come through me. The hunter's gaze shifted to him. For a second, everything felt still. Then it moved. Faster than sight. Armin didn't even see the strike. He only felt it. A powerful force hit him and threw him across the ground. He crashed hard, the air knocked out of his chest. Armin, the child shouted. The hunter turned back to her, unstoppable, unfeeling. She raised her hands. Her body exploded with blue light. This time, no hesitation. No weakness. The energy around her grew like a storm. The ground cracked beneath her feet. The air shook. You will not touch him. She shouted. The hunter paused. For the first time, it reacted. The energy between them clashed. Blue and red. Light and shadow. The force pushed outward, bending the ground. Armin struggled to stand. His body hurt, but he forced himself up. Stop, he shouted. But neither of them listened. The child's power kept rising. Stronger. Wilder. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever before. Too bright. She was losing control. The hunter stepped forward. Its form sharpened. More defined, more deadly. It raised its arm. A blade of dark energy formed. It rushed toward her. In that moment, Armin ran. Straight between them. No, he shouted. The blade stopped inches from him. The hunter froze. The child's power shook violently. Move, she cried. I can't stop it. Armin turned to her. You can, he said. Her eyes trembled. I can't. Yes, you can, he shouted. You're stronger than this. The energy around her surged, out of control. The ground cracked deeper. The air screamed. I'm hurting everything. She cried. Armin stepped closer, even as the power burned around him. Then focus, he said. I don't know how. Then follow me, he said. She looked at him, lost, afraid. Armin took her hand. Listen to my voice, he said. Just me. The world around them blurred. The hunter waited, watching, calculating. The child's breathing slowed slightly. The light flickered. Good, Armin said softly. Stay with me. Her eyes began to stabilize. The glow became softer, controlled. The energy stopped growing. The ground stopped shaking. Silence returned for a second. Then the hunter moved again. This time, faster than before. Armin saw it too late. The blade came down, but the child reacted. Instantly, a burst of blue light exploded outward. The hunter was thrown back. Hard, it hit the ground and slid across the dirt. For the first time, it was damaged. Its form flickered, unstable. The child stood still, breathing hard, but in control. I did it, she whispered. Armin smiled. I told you. The hunter slowly stood again. But this time, it hesitated. It looked at her differently. Not just as a target, but as a threat. Above them, the massive ship shifted again. Watching closely, the situation had changed. The unworthy child was no longer weak. She was something else now. Something dangerous. Something powerful. The hunter stepped back slightly, recalculating, and the child took a step forward, not in fear, but in strength. The fight was not over. But now, it was no longer one-sided. The night had changed. No more silence. No more fear hiding in the shadows. Now, everything was out in the open. The hunter stood still, its red eyes flickering. Its form was no longer stable. Parts of its body shifted like broken shadows, trying to hold shape. It was damaged, but not defeated. Armin stood beside the child, breathing hard. His body still ached from but he did not move back. Above them, the massive ship hovered like a dark god in the sky. Watching, waiting, judging, the child took a slow step forward. Her blue light was steady now, calm, controlled. You came to erase me, she said, her voice quiet but strong. The hunter tilted its head. Correction, restore balance. She shook her head. There was never balance. Only fear. The hunter did not respond. It raised its arm again. The dark blade formed once more. But this time, it hesitated. Just for a second. That was enough. The child lifted her hand. A soft wave of blue light spread out, not wild like before, but focused, sharp, clean. It touched the hunter, and the hunter stopped completely. Its blade froze in the air. Its body locked in place. Armin stared. "What did you do?" he asked. She did not look away from the hunter. "I showed it something new," she said. "What? Choice?" The hunter's red eyes flickered rapidly. Its form glitched. Like it was trying to understand something it was never made to understand. "Era," it whispered. The child stepped closer. "You were made to destroy," she said. "But you can stop." The hunter trembled. Its blade disappeared. Its body weakened further. "Command conflict." Above them, the massive ship reacted. A deep, powerful sound echoed across the sky. Not approval. Not acceptance. Anger. The voice returned. Louder than before. Colder than ever. "The subject has exceeded acceptable limits." Armin looked up. "They don't like this," he said. The child nodded. "They cannot control me anymore," the voice continued. "Final action. Planetary cleansing authorized." Armin's blood ran cold. "What does that mean?" he asked. The child's face went pale again. "It means they will destroy everything." The ship above began to glow. Energy gathered at its center. A weapon, huge, deadly. Armin looked at the child. "Can you stop that?" She stared at the sky. Her eyes filled with light again. "Yes." She paused. "But not alone." Armin stepped closer. "You're not alone." She looked at him. For the first time. There was no fear in her eyes. Only trust. She reached for his hand. "Then stay with me." "I'm not going anywhere," he said. The energy in the sky grew stronger. The ground began to shake again. Time was running out. The child closed her eyes. Her power rose again. But this time, it was different. Not wild. Not broken. Guided. Armin felt it too. A strange warmth moved through his body. Not pain. Not fear. Connection. "What is this?" he asked. "You are helping me," she said softly. "How?" "You chose me." When no one else did. The light around them grew brighter. The hunter, still frozen, slowly lowered itself, not attacking, not resisting, watching, learning. The child raised her free hand toward the sky. The blue light shot upward, straight toward the massive ship. It collided with the weapon forming above. The sky exploded with color. Blue against white, energy against energy. The ground shook violently. Armin held his ground. He did not let go. "Stay with me," she said. "I'm here." He shouted back. The beam from the ship fired. A massive blast of destruction. But the child pushed back. Her power held it, stopped it. Slowly, it began to break. The weapon cracked. Energy scattered. The sky screamed. Then boom, the blast shattered. The light faded. The massive ship flickered, damaged, unstable. For a long moment, everything went quiet. Then slowly, the ship began to move. Not forward, not attacking, retreating. "They're leaving," Armin said. The child lowered her hand. Her body weakened. But she was still standing. "Yes," she whispered. "They lost." The hunter faded back into the shadows. No longer a threat. No longer a weapon. Just still. The sky cleared. Stars returned. The night became calm again. Armin looked at the child. "You did it," he said. She looked at him. "No," she replied softly. "We did." Her glow slowly dimmed, but it did not disappear. It stayed. Part of her. Part of this world now. "What happens now?" Armin asked. She looked around. At the fields, at the sky, at him. "I stay," she said. "With me?" Armin asked. She nodded. "With you," Armin smiled. "A real one. For the first time since all of this began." Far away, the world would never fully understand what happened that night. They would never know how close they came to losing everything. They would never know about the child marked unworthy, but stories would spread, whispers, rumors, about a strange light in the sky, about something that protected them. And in one quiet place on Earth, a human and an alien child stood side by side, not as strangers, not as survivors, but as family. Because the galaxy may have called her unworthy, but to one human, she was everything. And to Earth, she had become something more, a protector, a legend,